This season, DeMar DeRozan has been going crazy and to a lot of people is considered to be an MVP candidate. Some would even go as far as saying that he deserves to win the MVP and the Chicago Bulls are probably going to win a championship. But many people forget that only 2 years ago, a lot of us forgot that DeMar DeRozan was even on the planet, and some were even saying that his career was over and he was washed. So how is it 2 years later, someone that is at the age of 32 is having an MVP candidate season and playing better than he ever has in his career before? Before we get into the content, if you guys could leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you know with notifications on. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel by the end of the year, and your subscription would be greatly appreciated. Let's get into the video. Not even 10 years ago, the San Antonio Spurs were seen as a powerhouse in the Western Conference, led by guys like Tim Duncan, a great coach in Greg Popovich, and Kawhi Leonard. In 2014, they would go on to beat the Miami Heat to win the NBA Finals versus a LeBron, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh led Miami team. Even after those seasons when they would not win a championship, they were always a top team in the West, and especially versus the Golden State Warriors. And if it wasn't for a Kawhi Leonard injury, a lot of people think that the Spurs would have went on to make the championship in the 2017 season. However, it would be in 2019 that the San Antonio Spurs would no longer be a contender and instead one of the worst teams in the Western Conference. Which brings us to DeMar DeRozan, who was traded to the Spurs in exchange for Kawhi Leonard, which is a pretty famous trade that a lot of people now know. And the reason I talk about San Antonio and why their team has started to go down is mainly one of the real reasons why people stopped caring about DeMar DeRozan, and that was just because no one cared to watch the Spurs anymore. They were no longer a contender, they were just a team that was trying to get a good draft pick. In 2017, if you were to ask me if I wanted to watch a Spurs game, I'd be like, sure, but now I don't even know if I even want to. And it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, the NBA media hates the Spurs and they're just not going to talk about them. It's just that they were not a good team, so why would you want to watch a bad team play? Now, a popular misconception about DeMar's time in San Antonio is a lot of people said that he was not doing good and he regressed. And I mean, if you call this regressing, I guess it's regressing. I mean, they're pretty similar to his stats before. Of course, I'm a firm believer in not just looking at the box score and the stats, but also watching the damn games. Anyways, a lot of people believe that since DeMar DeRozan was traded to the Spurs, that his career would basically die out over there and that he would no longer be the same. And if you did not watch DeMar DeRozan for 2 years, a lot of people would understand that, and a lot of people would forget how good DeMar actually used to be, which is the reason why during this offseason when he was signed to the Chicago Bulls for almost a damn near max contract, a lot of people lost their shit and thought that the Chicago Bulls got robbed and that DeMar isn't actually that good. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I thought this was a great move. Now, yes, it was technically a sign-in trade, and I thought, hey, if I can give up Thaddeus Young and Thomas Satoransky for DeMar DeRozan, I'm taking that move any single day of the week. Mind you, a lot of people thought that the Chicago Bulls made one of the worst moves in free agency in a very long time. Now, if you were to bet whether DeMar DeRozan was a good move, then you'd be 50-50. However, if you try to tell someone that DeMar DeRozan was going to be an MVP candidate, a lot of people, including myself, was going to say that you were crazy. Remember, the Chicago Bulls had guys like Nikola Vucevic and Zach LaVine, most importantly. If anyone is going to be an MVP candidate on the Chicago Bulls, it's either Alex Caruso or Zach LaVine. All jokes aside, no one thought that DeMar DeRozan would be able to step into the #1 option, and most people saw him as a 2 option or a 3. And some would probably still try to argue that Zach LaVine is a #1 option, and to me, I think that's a valid argument, but personally and statistically, I think DeMar DeRozan is just doing better. This season, DeMar DeRozan is averaging 26.4 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists on 23 PER with a field goal percentage of 49. And with the Chicago Bulls being the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference and a lot of people thinking they're going to stay that way, I think it's safe to say that they're a winning team right now. Now, a lot of people may be asking, okay, what changed in these past couple of years that made him play like an MVP candidate versus when he was in San Antonio? Now, obviously, the Chicago Bulls and the whole team that's been around him has changed the way he's been able to play. But before we can talk about that, hey y'all, this video is sponsored by Manscaped.com, the #1 brand for men's grooming and hygiene products. Now, normally when I'm talking about Manscaped, I'm telling you about their Performance Package 4.0, but they sent me 2 new products and I think we gotta talk about them. First product is Manscaped's brand new 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. It's a hair washing conditioner, and not only does it have a dual action formula, but it has a refined cologne quality fragrance. And after using it a couple times, I definitely am impressed, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm going to be incorporating this into my shower routine. Now, of course, stuff your hair is nice and all, but what about body wash? Just like the shampoo and conditioner, it has a refined cologne quality fragrance, and if you need any more convincing, then look at this. Marshawn Lynch himself is using Manscaped products. If you want to be like Marshawn Lynch and also use Manscaped products, make sure you guys go to manscaped.com and use use code Spex for 20% off your order whatever you do purchase. Guys, that's code Spex, 20% off. On top of that, you get international free shipping. The link will be in the description below, and thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. Guys, your balls will thank you. One of the reasons why DeMar DeRozan is able to succeed is because of Lonzo Ball, who is not only a good playmaker, but on top of that, he's really good at spacing the floor, as Lonzo Ball over the past couple years has started to develop as a three-point shooter, which some people still call him a terrible three-point shooter, which I do not understand, because if you've seen the stats and you've seen him shoot, you can clearly see he's developed. Of course, I'm not going to convince you that Lonzo Ball is the best three-point shooter in the league. However, I could convince you that he's in the top 5, especially when it comes to efficiency. When DeMar was signed and we started to see all the players that the Bulls were getting, including Lonzo Ball, a lot of people wanted to talk about that Lonzo Ball is really good at playmaking and he's really good at passing the ball and getting his teammates open. What about a guy like Alex Caruso, who is very much one of the more underrated role players in the NBA? He's not going to drop 10 points per game, however, he's going to be someone that can facilitate the ball, be a playmaker, and can space the floor by being a really good three-point shooter. Of course, this cannot be a Chicago Bulls video if we do not talk about Zach LaVine, who him and DeMar DeRozan have been arguably the best duo so far in this NBA season. Both Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan on the court at the same time is a scaring sight to see. On top of having a player like Zach LaVine, the reason why this is so important is because now you have 2 stars on a team, and I would argue superstars. So instead of now just focusing on Zach LaVine, you gotta focus on Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. Now obviously at this point, I think most people would focus on DeMar, but when we look at Zach LaVine, if you're not gonna give him as much defensive attention, then Zach LaVine's gonna drop a 40 piece on you. I haven't even mentioned Nikola Vucevic, who's been a pretty good three-point shooter. He is up and down sometimes. Of course, I cannot forget about Nikola Vucevic like I did in the last Bulls video, and I mean, Nikola Vucevic is a great third scoring option. His three-point shooting has been up and down, but the guy is really good in the paint. On top of everything being said, I think we also need to acknowledge the fact that the Chicago Bulls have one of the best benches in the NBA, and their rotation is really talented. Whether it's guys like Kobe White or Ayo, they have so many weapons and options, not even just DeMar DeRozan, who in himself can change the game dramatically. In the comment section below, I want you to tell me if you believe that DeMar DeRozan should win the MVP this season, and if you do not, tell me in the comment section below why you do believe that. I believe that if DeMar DeRozan is playing the way he does and the Bulls keep winning and they stay at the 1 seed, that no doubt in my mind, yes, DeMar DeRozan should be the MVP. It's not a popular name like Giannis or Kevin Durant, but regardless, he's playing like an MVP. Now, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you guys do leave a like on this and subscribe to the channel if you're new and notifications on. With all that being said, I'm going to get this video out for you guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Have an amazing day. Take care. Peace. If you guys have made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. On the screen right now is going to be one, my other Chicago Bulls video that I made about a week ago, and the other one is going to be from my group channel LUT. It's a day in the life, and I think you guys would very much enjoy it.
We always stay together, or sometimes I wish I never met. But we both know that's a lie.